Hello and welcome to this video. This video, and more importantly this channel, are opinion based, so I'd like to exaggerate that these opinions will probably differ from yours. However, this doesn't mean that I don't want to hear what you have to say, so if you have different thoughts and feelings to me, which I'm sure you will, feel free to let me know in the comment section and I'll try my best to respond to all of them. All pictures and or clips used within the video are owned entirely by the copyright holders, which in this case is Marvel. Screen Cycle makes no ownership claims and encourages viewers to watch all the movies listed in this video legally, thus giving the filmmakers the credit that they deserve. This list is somewhat subject to change, as my opinion differs whenever a new film comes out in the Marvel franchise, but nonetheless this is my current list of top 10 Marvel superheroes. This list isn't based on power or strength or most movies, but is simply who I like the most and liked the most growing up. I'll give a brief description of each character and why they like them so much, as well as their first comic book appearance. Unlike my last video, this list is not just aimed towards the characters within the Avengers franchise, but in the franchise of Marvel as a whole. It needs to be stressed that this list will of course consist of heroes. No villains will be present on this list. With that being said, let's get straight into the list. Starting strong at number 10, we have none other than Iron Man. Growing up, I was never a huge fan of Iron Man in the comic books. However, this all changed in 2008 when Robert Downey Jr. stepped into the role. Debuting in comic books in 1963, Tony Stark is a very wealthy American businessman turned superhero. After creating an armored suit that manages to save his life, Stark realizes that with a few weapon modifications to the suit, he is able to use it for good. Iron Man is the leading member of the Avengers and perhaps the most recognizable superhero of all time. With the help of his trusty suit, Iron Man possesses powers of military-grade armor, super strength, flight, and not to mention an endless list of built-in weapons to help assist him. Oh, and he's also a genius, thus making him a great superhero to start off the list. At number 9, I have decided to give it to Black Panther. Growing up, I loved the Black Panther, having read about him in my comics and seen a few episodes of the 2011 TV series. To me, he was one of the coolest and best superheroes I'd ever seen. His name and his suit alone film adaptation of the character was fantastic, as covered in my previous video. Chadwick Boseman gives the character a much-needed injection of life. His first comic book appearance was in 1966, and T'Challa's powers are very unique. Aside from his fighting expertise, genius intelligence, master strategies, Black Panther also boasts speed, strength, enhanced senses, and the use of vibranium in his suit. But perhaps the coolest power of Black Panther is his ability to use the knowledge and strength of all Black Panthers prior to him. At number 8, I have decided to go with my favourite female character from Marvel, that being Elektra. Many people, when asked who their favourite female superhero is, would probably say either Captain Marvel, or Black Widow, Scarlet Witch, or even more recently, Gamora. However, growing up, I felt as though Elektra was one of the best characters that Marvel had to offer. Her first appearance was relatively late compared with the characters on this list, being in 1981. Elektra is an expertly trained assassin who wields an awesome pair of blades known as Sai. Elektra is often seen as somewhat of an anti-hero, but the majority of her appearances are on the side of the protagonists. Just like all other good superheroes, Elektra comes with a tragic backstory. Her mother died just after giving birth to Elektra, and at the age of 9 she was assaulted by a group of kidnappers, which led to her father giving her mixed martial arts lessons, as he knew it could have been the best thing that would have happened to her. Other abilities of Elektra include telepathy, illusion, pain, heat, and cold resistance, and in my opinion these all make her one of the best Marvel superheroes ever. Number 7 for me is none other than Spider-Man. Since his first comic book appearance in 1962, I think that growing up every kid dreamed of being the famous web slinger. During a field trip to a laboratory, a spider escapes from its enclosure and bites Peter Parker in his hand, giving him radioactive powers. The powers include web slinging and wall climbing, of course, heightened senses known as Spidey senses, and a heightened speed and strength. He utilizes his powers to exact revenge on the people who murdered his father figure, Uncle Ben, and afterwards realize that he is able to help other people in need. I feel that another reason why I enjoy Spider-Man so much is also due to the incredible roster of villains that he has to come up against. Green Goblin, Kraven the Hunter, Rhino, Venom, Carnage, Dr. Octopus, Sandman, Mysterio, the list goes on and on. Another reason why I have ranked Spider-Man higher than those previously mentioned in this video is due to the outstanding performance of Tom Holland, who I feel played the hero for a very long time. At number 6 is everyone's favourite patriot, Captain America. His first appearance came in 1941, much earlier than all other characters on this list, and he was the 10th superhero in total to be created by Marvel. Created in the midst of World War II, it is clear that Marvel created Captain America as symbolism for the American troops fighting overseas. This was used as a tactic to get people on the side of him, and it worked. Cap is a great superhero and has this coupled with an even better suit. The American flag-inspired suit and the iconic star shield make for one of the most recognizable supersuits of all time. He has a somewhat typical arsenal of superpowers that includes strength, speed, agility, senses, expert martial arts skills, super healing, and one of the best powers is perhaps his ability to wield his aforementioned shield so well in combat. His alter ego Steve Rogers is originally a slim man, but through much enhancement and serum during World War II, he is able to achieve peak human performance in order to help the government. His patriotism and loyalty are what lead him to be eventually known as the leader of the almighty Avengers. Number 5 is a character that I felt didn't get the recognition he deserved while growing up, none other than X-Men's Beast. He made his first appearance alongside the rest of the X-Men in 1963. Beast has one of the coolest appearances of any Marvel character that I have ever seen. The combination of his huge physique and his trademark blue fur allow him to be very easily recognizable among all superheroes. He is defined as having ape-like strength and other animalistic abilities such as fur, claws, and feline teeth, as well as genius-level intelligence. Known by his previous alter ego of Hank McCoy, he underwent progressive transformations which led to him being branded a mutant alongside his X-Men teammates. Something that always stood out to me from a young age with this character, whether it be in the comics or the X-Men animated series of the 90s, was the deceptiveness of his character. It is common to expect the strongest character in the group to simultaneously be the least intelligent. However, with Beast, this is not the case. Despite being inhuman, he is shown to be a very well-educated man and is known for his intelligence and wit, which from a young age broke the stereotype and suggested to me that you can't judge a book by its cover. Thus, I felt that Beast was not just one of the best X-Men, but also one of the best Marvel characters to date. At number 4 is the muscle behind the Avengers, the Hulk. Hulk made his first appearance in the 1962 comic book named after him, The Incredible Hulk, and has since gone on to be considered the strongest character that Marvel have ever created. Similar to Beast, Hulk is most recognizable through his toxic green skin, but also his gigantic body and unimaginable strength, in addition to his somewhat invincible demeanor and leaping ability and stamina. His alter ego Bruce Banner, however, like many other characters, is known primarily for his superior intelligence. This creates a perfect juxtaposition from a weak, emotionally withdrawn scientist to a hulking and physically superior monster. In one of his experiments, Banner was exposed to gamma radiation, which sees a physical transformation into the Hulk. When Banner experiences stress or anger, he unwillingly transforms into the Hulk. I feel that seeing the physical transformation from Banner to Hulk is what sets him apart from the other characters. Seeing Banner grow and modify his body uncontrollably is so intimidating yet undeniably entertaining. His trademark purple trousers being ripped and torn to form shorts, and the slow changing in the colour of his skin, and of course the muscular growth are all aspects of what makes it so great. More recently, his work alongside the Avengers in the movie adaptation since 2012 has only done justice to the character, thanks to Mark Ruffalo. At number 3, just narrowly beating out the Hulk, is the god of sky and thunder, Thor. I feel that the fact that he is a god is enough to guarantee him a podium place on this list without question, let alone the god of thunder. So other than the obvious ability to manipulate thunder and lightning at will, Thor also has the ability to speed, superhuman strength, and flight. This is all thanks to the help of Mjolnir. Mjolnir is not a person or even a sidekick, but is a hammer that he is often seen to be wielding. Thor made his first appearance in 1962, and since then he has stuck to the same appearance. He has long golden locks, a red cape surrounding his armored suit, and his Asgardian steel helmet in the comic book and numerous TV series appearances. His appearance has changed in the last 2 installments of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, however, seeing him ditch the long hair and trusty hammer as well as his traditional outfit, which I wasn't too fond of. But due to Chris Hemsworth's brilliant personification of the Asgardian, I'm willing to let that slide. I was torn between giving third place to Hulk or Thor, but taking this latest movie adaptation into consideration, I've decided to give the edge to Thor. Ruffalo gives a great performance as Banner, but the fact that he has not yet had his own standalone movie, coupled with the fact that Hemsworth has done so brilliantly in his, has meant that I'm willing to give Thor the edge. Number 1 and number 2 for me are very close, but ultimately number 2 for me is the most recent Marvel character on the list, making his first appearance in 1991, Deadpool. Initially, Wade Wilson, aka Deadpool, was introduced in the comic books as a villain, but after much fan support and minor tweaks to the character, he was made into a hero. But the line between hero and anti-hero is very blurred when it comes to Deadpool. Growing up, I was never really big into Deadpool. I didn't read very much of his comics, and as far as I'm aware, there was never really a TV series to give the character much room to grow or warm towards a younger audience. However, the 2016 and 2018 movie adaptations were enough for me to give The Merc with a Mouth second place on this list. The movies were great for Marvel in general and showed the audience that they could do much more than what many people thought capable. Deadpool is a very close to the bone character, which I understand may not be for everyone. But the use of humour and breaking of the fourth wall mixed with the self-aware humour in both movies is excellent. Needless to say, the performance from Ryan Reynolds is sublime. His commitment and willingness to play the character on and offline are one of the main reasons why I rank this character so highly on my list. Deadpool's suit is very sleek and modern and used to accommodate whatever weapon he feels comfortable utilising, whether it be his katanas or anything as simple as a gun. Wade Wilson was diagnosed with multiple cancers and it was inoperable. The only alternative was to be scientifically experimented on, which led to his disfiguration, but consequently his powers, which include health regeneration and marksman shooting and swordsmanship. Who knows, if I had been more into the comic books or had the chance to see Deadpool in his own animated series, then I may have given him number one spot. As good as second place is, I feel Deadpool would personally be very upset with who he lost out to in the number one spot. Finally, at number one we have Wolverine. Whether you know him as the comic book Wolverine or Hugh Jackman's Logan, there is no denying that Wolverine is undeniably one of, if not the coolest superheroes of all time, which in my opinion he definitely is. The standout member of the X-Men, and with good reason. I feel that although he works very well with the team, that he is better as the psychotic and unpredictable Weapon X that he was designed to be. He made his first appearance in 1974, and since then he has only managed to increase in popularity. In the comic books and many historic animated adaptations, Wolverine has been seen to be sporting a yellow and blue costume with a winged face mask. His powers include superhuman senses, the ability to heal himself, and adamantium skeleton, meaning that he is virtually indestructible. He is also very gifted in the art of combat, being trained to an elite level, not to mention the fact he has the coolest weapons ever in his retractable hand claws that can be used to cut his enemies to pieces. Much like Deadpool and Electro, Wolverine can be seen as an anti-hero. And like many other superheroes who fight for what's right and believe only in justice, Wolverine isn't afraid to use deadly force and do what he feels is right. Wolverine has been expertly played by Hugh Jackman in the Marvel movies, and as a result has only further developed the character. For a long time it seemed that the Wolverine franchise may not reach its full potential, because they didn't give him the dark storyline and anti-hero movie that he would thrive in. Then in 2007, with the release of Logan, everything got so much better. The movie was unbelievable and had the dark undertones and humour that set it apart from most other Marvel movies. And for me, it is one of the best movies that I have seen in a very, very long time, and I wholeheartedly encourage everybody to go and watch it. So yeah, that's my top 10 best Marvel superheroes of all time. I would like to apologise for not ranking your favourite superhero higher on the list, or even at all in some cases. But you need to understand that with such an impressive roster of Marvel heroes, it was always going to be hard to narrow it down to just 10. Which I believe showcases what a fantastic job Stan Lee and the rest of Marvel has done over the years, and I can only commend them for that. If you liked the video, please feel free to like and subscribe because it would mean a huge amount to me. However, if you didn't like it, then feel free to dislike the video, but please let me know in the comments as to why so that I can improve it for next time. Anyway, hopefully I'll see you guys next week when we examine the other side of the coin and delve into the top 10 Marvel villains of all time. Until then, I hope you enjoyed the video and have a great week.